Congratulations! After days and weeks of bear baiting, you have successfully killed a bear of your choosing. Now what? It's a question you should have an answer for before you're standing over your trophy bear. It's a moment of triumph, but also a moment of responsibility. You see, hunting is more than just the chase and the kill. It's about what happens next. It's about the respect you show for the animal and the wilderness. It's about being prepared for the task at hand, with the right tools and knowledge. Imagine standing there in the hush of the wild with a bear at your feet. Do you know what to do next? Do you field dress the bear right there, or do you transport it? And if you decide to transport, how do you do it properly? In this video, we will guide you through the process step by step. A good hunter always comes prepared. Let's talk about the essentials you need to carry with you. First off, a knife. It's your most versatile tool. You'll use it skinning and quartering your bear. Consider carrying multiple knives of varying sizes, and remember, a dull knife is a dangerous knife. So don't forget your sharpening tool, or consider a knife with a replaceable blade to ensure you're always ready to go. Next up, a plastic tarp. The beauty of this item is in its simplicity and versatility. An inexpensive 6x8 or 8x10 plastic tarp can be your ground cover to skin a bear on. If you're in dense cover, it can also help you relocate your bear by dragging it. A small tree saw is another handy tool. You never know when you'll need to clear access into heavy alders or brush. A compact, lightweight saw can make all the difference. Let's not forget about the bugs. Mosquito netting or repellent is a must-have in many hunting areas. Nothing ruins a hunt faster than a horde of mosquitoes. So, keep them at bay with your choice of protection. Disposable gloves are another essential. They're not only for hygiene, but also for protection when handling your kill. They're lightweight, easy to pack, and can be disposed of after use. Consider bringing a sturdy, lightweight plastic sled. If you've successfully hunted a bear, you're going to need help moving it. A sled can make this task much easier, especially in difficult terrain. And lastly, don't forget the headlamp. Even in the land of the midnight sun, it gets pretty dark in the late hours surrounded by thick alder groves. These are just the basics. Depending on your hunting area and personal preferences, you may want to add to this list. The key is to be prepared for a variety of situations. Remember, being well prepared can make the difference between a successful hunt and a frustrating experience. Now that you have your bear, should you field dress it or transport it? Let's weigh the pros and cons. When you've successfully taken down a bear, you're faced with a decision. Do you field dress it right there, or do you transport it for processing elsewhere? Let's dig into the advantages and drawbacks of both options. Field dressing or processing the bear on site certainly has its perks. The most obvious one is the ease of cleanup. You're not dragging a full-size bear through the wilderness, and you're leaving behind the non-essential parts. This method also reduces the weight you'll need to carry, a definite plus if you're in a remote or difficult-to-navigate area. However, field dressing isn't always the best option. For one, if there are other bears in the vicinity, gutting and skinning the bear could attract unwanted attention. In addition, difficult terrain could make it tough to properly skin the bear. And let's not forget about the bugs. Mosquitoes love a fresh kill, and working under a swarm of them can be a nightmare. Dim lighting can also make field dressing a challenge, especially if you're hunting at dusk or dawn. On the flip side, transporting the bear has its own set of advantages and disadvantages. If you're worried about attracting other bears or dealing with difficult terrain, transporting the bear can be a safer and cleaner option. However, you need to consider the physical demands of hauling a full-sized bear out of the wilderness. It's not a task for the faint-hearted, and if you're transporting a bear for any amount of time, be sure to position it carefully. You wouldn't want rigor to set in with the bear curled up or on its side, making it even harder to manage when it comes time to skin the bear. So, whether you choose to field dress or transport, make sure you consider these factors. Each hunter's situation is unique, and what works best for one might not be the best choice for another. The key is to be prepared, stay safe, and make the decision that best suits your circumstances. If you choose to transport your bear, here's a pro tip. When it comes to transporting your trophy, proper positioning is key. You see, after a certain period, rigor mortis sets in, making the body of the bear stiff and difficult to manipulate. If you're transporting for more than an hour or so, you want to ensure you've got the bear situated properly. Think straight and flat, not curled up or on its side. This will make everything from moving the bear to eventually skinning it much easier. Picture having to deal with a bear that's frozen in a curled up position while trying to make straight cuts for your bear rug. Not ideal, right? So, take the time to position it correctly before setting off. It might seem like a minor detail, but it can save you a lot of trouble down the line. Remember, a little foresight goes a long way when transporting your bear. Now let's cover the basics of skinning a bear. This process may seem daunting at first, but with a little patience and precision, it can be a rewarding experience. Remember, this is an extremely brief overview, so for more detailed instructions, be sure to refer to other videos online that are focused on skinning out a bear. First, you'll want to lay your bear out flat on its back. This position allows for easy access to the entire body. Now take a deep breath and let's begin. Please keep in mind the following overview is for making a bear rug or simply making a hanger. It would be wise to speak with a taxidermist before heading out to see what they need done to ensure a successful hide. Start by making a cut from just below the chin and cut a straight line down the middle of the chest, all the way to the privates. Be careful not to cut too deep as you don't want to pierce the animal's organs. In addition, always cut away from you with the blade side up so you're not cutting through the hair. Next, cut from the center of the bear's palm down the outside of the arm, running all the way to the chest, meeting the main cut perpendicular. When cutting along the front arms, make sure to run your cut to the elbow, and then follow the bend of the arm to the chest. At this point, you should have one long cut from neck to tail, and one cut from each paw to the main cut, totaling 5 cuts. Now start pulling back the hide and cutting the hide from the torso slowly, peeling as you go. The paws can be removed using your knife, as they are connected by tendons. Bend the paw back and forth until you see the joint, then slowly cut until the tendons release the knuckle. Once you have skinned as much as you can reach, flip the bear over and keep skinning. Once the bear is on his stomach, you can often grab the hide from the rear legs and pull straight towards the head, allowing much of the hide to peel off until you reach the neck. At this point, simply cut around the flesh of the neck where it moves until you detach the head, which is still covered with the hide. We realize this sounds very complicated, so if you're a visual learner like me, take our advice and watch as many videos as you can find on skinning bears. Once you see the videos, these instructions should make a lot more sense. Throughout this process, remember to use a sharp knife and take your time. It's not a race. The goal is to keep the skin as intact as possible. So, there you have it, a step-by-step guide on what to do after a successful bear hunt. We've covered quite a bit today, so let's quickly recap. Firstly, we discussed the essential items to carry in your backpack or with you to the site. We talked about the importance of a knife or knives, along with a sharpening tool or considering a knife with a replaceable blade. We also touched on the necessity of an inexpensive plastic tarp, not just for providing a ground cover for skinning, but also for relocating the bear if you find yourself in dense cover. We also mentioned the usefulness of a small tree saw to clear access into heavy brush, and the need for mosquito netting or repellent, disposable gloves, a headlamp, and a sturdy, lightweight plastic sled for moving the bear. Next, we delved into the debate of field dressing versus transporting the bear. We weighed the pros and cons of both methods. Field dressing can be easier in terms of cleanup and can reduce the weight you need to carry, especially in remote or difficult areas. However, it also has its challenges, such as the presence of other bears, difficult terrain for skinning, mosquitoes, and sometimes dim lighting. On the other hand, if you're considering transporting the bear, we shared a pro tip. If the journey will take a while, make sure to position the bear so that when rigor sets in, it won't be curled up or on its side. Lastly, we gave you a brief rundown on the basics of skinning a bear, whether for a rug or a hanger. We also recommended watching more detailed videos on bear skinning to further hone your skills. In the end, a successful hunt isn't just about the kill. It's about being prepared for what comes after. From knowing the right tools to bring, to making key decisions on field dressing or transporting, to mastering the basics of skinning. Remember, a successful hunt doesn't end with pulling the trigger. It's about being prepared for what comes after. Take care, be safe, and happy hunting.